Hi, this is Kim Nelson, professor at the Fashion Institute of Technology and Jewelry Design. Continuing the video I had going for drafting faceted stones. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this pear shape that I had begun in the previous video. I'm going to want to move the bottom view so that it is located appropriately. And once again, as we did in the top view, I don't have going from side to side here. I don't have any clear place that I could mark to get my angle from here to here. So I'm going to create one artificially, and that's going to take place from here to here because that's the closest I have. And once again, this should be the widest part of the stone anyway, so it works for my purposes. I'm going to go ahead and put in a guideline. To establish the depth of the stone. And I'm going to establish a halfway point along this stone for my halfway elevation. So mid-snap. Going to mirror that over. Select both of these and do an extend curve command. Touch the two ends of that extension and they expand out to reach, extend to reach. So now I've got this. I'm going to do my construction lines. I already have all of my positions along the girdle. So I only need to lay them out along the halfway reference line. And once again, as we discussed previously, this would, since this is a flat facet that we don't get to see really any of, we really wouldn't get to see. Actually, no, that extends further out, but it's going to extend beyond. See, I can't accurately draw that facet. So, for the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to consider the end of this line to be the hip of that main facet. And then I'll plot the other lines, of which there are really only two, which I can just mirror over. And go ahead and draw those main facets. So culet, guide, bezel facet, and back. Culet, midline guide, bezel facet, back. Draw the dividing lines for the lower girdle facets. This can now be made white so it's a facet line. Select these, mirror them over. And that would complete that drawing. Last thing I need to do is to present the layout as it would normally be presented. Now, I do have the opportunity here to draw the side view of this stone, which, unlike the round, is not going to be the same. I'm going to borrow this view copy yes with my orient command, and just click here, straight out, having a challenge. Since that's fighting me a little bit, I'll go simpler. I'll move it, I'll copy it over there, and then I will rotate it. This just allows me to steal the information that I've already established here over here, and that information is really going to be limited to the proportions. The facet lines I can't really use, but it does give me overall proportions. Now in this case, I can draw a construction line here and here, and use the fillet command set to 0 to extend my girdle. And I can do the same thing for the table. It is important to note that the culet is slightly forward. So I will move that point accordingly. And there, now I have a nice setup. For my guidelines, this is a direct angle. This is directly observable. This is a flat plane, which I can repeat here. Same is true here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring down a halfway guide. Now, a true confession here is that I am cheating a little bit. Because once again we have a flat facet, so we can't actually plot things out like we would like to normally with a simpler object. So for the purposes of our drawing, this will be fine. I want to bring down construction lines. For the table. And for the midline. Now, as we pointed out, that's going to come to here, but we're going to consider that to be right there. We're going to consider the hip of that bezel facet to be in that location, because this has to be a straight plane. This. And this. And once again, that will also end. Even though it wants to show it here, once again, we have that sophisticated flat versus not flat issue going on. So that will actually go here. This, instead of being there, come over here. Going to go ahead and draw my star facets. That would go from here to here, back to there, there to there, there to there, like so. Bringing construction lines down to the girdle. And then finish drawing the facets of the crown. So we're going to go from here to here, back, and then essentially every other point. And then dividing lines. I don't know why. No, because this didn't extend all the way. Down. Just tidying up the drawings so that things that are facets are the same color as facets. Now you can see this does create distortions. In reality, what we see here would look more normal there. Okay? We can't have exact accuracy because of the nature of the thing that we're drawing. Okay? So, and primarily, once again, it's because that is a flat plane. So continuing. Somehow I lost my point right here. I need to get that back, so I'm going to undo until I can find it. Copy it to clipboard outside of Rhino, and then redo. And paste it. Now I need to have this to draw the bottom. I'm going to make my life easy and just mirror it over. So I can just draw the lines this way. Once again, I have a good straight line. Because of these nice flat planes, which will make it easy for me to establish the midline. So now I'm going to bring down the construction lines. That intersect with the midpoint. Once again, since this is a flat plane, this point has to end up here instead of over here. And the same. Sorry, this point here and this point here. So we're just going to accept that these shoulders are represented by those 2 points. But the remaining points we can carry up and then draw our main facets. And the seams, excuse me, on our lower girdle facets. Like so. I'll delete this and these 2 guidelines, and that would give us a good technical drawing of our serviceable technical drawing of our pear shape. And that's it. Appreciate you taking the time to watch.